We go. Episode 2 of Dean's LA Sports Report, Lakers Rant Room edition. Today we got multiple Lakers creators hopping on the show. Malcolm, my man, how's it going, dude?
What's up, Dean Frank, the youngest in charge, man?
My
I'm big,
guy,
big
dude.
fan, big fan, bro.
Hey, bro, likewise. Happy to get this started and get this moving. I see Assad's in the chat as well. So, sweet. Hey, how you feeling, man? I know, post All-Star weekend, it's tough to not overreact as a Lakers fan, as I was kind of just mentioning. And, all these ups and downs. It's like a good win against the Clippers, and then, Sunday it all falls apart. It looks like the offense just could not get any momentum going. So just your overreactions as we can start this going.
Yeah, and I'm definitely overreacting for sure because I'll be honest, bro. The Lakers could be, let's say, they could be where San Antonio or Denver is right now. It's not even about the record so much. It's more of what I see when we play teams that are contenders or hungry. It could even be a
Yep.
young, hungry team. It's
Yep.
like the Lakers, anything that's not right there, like I called us front runners last night because it ain't just about the Boston rivalry. It's every game. I've watched every game this season. And whenever it's the going gets tough, we check out. So I'm a little overreacting, but I mean, we got what 24, 20 or 25, 26 more games left. So it's a lot of time, a lot of runway left. But yeah, I'm a little not feeling it wasn't my best day.
Yeah, no, well said, brother. Assad, welcome in, man. The Lakers
Going
banker.
on.
Yeah, if y'all want to introduce yourself too, real quickly, let's do that. I mean, I know we'll have a bunch of your followers on and mine as well. So let's do some, quick introductions and we'll get right into it.
Malcolm, you go for it, brother.
Oh yeah, man. My name is Malcolm Xavier, huge Lakers fan. I run a blog called The Lakers Room. Started off doing voiceovers. Now I do analysis. I do highlights, whatever the case may be, old school stuff. I've been on the Lakers for a long time. I'm probably even older than I look, you know what I mean? So I've been on since the Kobe era all the way through to now and in between. So go check out the articles, check out the Instagram, check out the website. I'm gonna keep trying to bring quality Lakers content, win or lose, because it's a passion of mine through journalism, also, which I see you got a passion for, also.
Love that. Love that.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Assad, born and raised in Inglewood. First game was when I was 8, Kobe's rookie year. Um, did a little work, was able to start going to every game this season for the first time in my life. But lifelong Laker fan, man, ready to get it in. It's been a tough times, since we lost Kobe, unfortunately. But Luka's here now. I feel things are really changing around. And, despite the loss yesterday, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season for sure.
Hell yeah, no, appreciate both y'all for hopping in, of course. And as Laker fans, I think it's important for us to realize like people think we are so biased. People think that, we're not going to talk real talk when it comes to the Lakers. And I think me personally, I went to school in Colorado, so I would like the past couple years losing against the Nuggets and whatnot has sucked because being around that type of energy. But being a Laker fan, we see a bunch of big ups and downs. So I think right now is the perfect time to talk about it because, of course, as always, center of media attention. And with Luca here, with the last couple, probably in my eyes, I think LeBron's done after this upcoming season. But yeah, it's win. As a Laker fan, it's always win it all or it's a waste of a year. That's how I see it. So that's why we're always talking so highly about this team. And it's what's so troublesome is we can't be good teams. And something I talked about as I started this live is it seems like every loss against good teams is a blowout. There hasn't been a game that comes down to the wire last minute. I want to see Luca in that clutch moment. So it's tough to see those blowouts types of game because it's hard to put a real feel on if this team is actual contenders. So we're post All-Star break. Again, it's going to be another overreaction, but I'm going to start with Malcolm and we'll go with the Assad after. But just very general, do you think that this team is a contender? And give me like a kind of just like a prediction for where you think, like how deep of a run this team is going to make. Again, very general. Who knows what's going to happen injury wise and, how the rotation looks going into the rest of the season. But let's hear it.
Do I think they're a contender? No, not right now because I don't see us beating any of the other top four teams: OKC, Denver, San Antonio, Houston in a 7 game series. I barely see us beating Minnesota. You know what I mean? And I thought we was going to beat them last year. I predicted that we were going to beat them in 5 games until I seen even one thing that's concerning to me when it comes to the contender status. And he's one of my favorite players, bro. But Austin Reeves. I swear to God, the same way that I feel like the Lakers kind of Like if it's not easy, if Reeves don't have a whole bunch of space to operate, you make it uncomfortable for him, push him off his spot a little bit. I don't see it the same. I see the buyout projects that we had in DeAndre Ayton. I now can kind of more understand why he was a buyout project. Like Jackson Hayes, honestly, might as well be starting over him, but that gives us the same team pretty much that we had last year. And we already seen what happens with Jackson Hayes as a starting center in a playoff series against a contender. So I'm like, no, I just don't see it right now. I will say I don't see it like it's over. Like, like there are things that can still happen that I feel like can push us into contender status. And when Luka and LeBron are in playoff form, you're going to get a different team because the Lakers are a good
True.
half court team. Let's not ever get that twisted. Half court offensively, one of the best teams in the NBA. And it is a slow down game in the playoffs. But overall, my answer would be no. But it's not, that can change.
That's interesting. I think with Austin Reeves specifically, I mean, before he got injured, this bro was averaging 26 points, and he would clearly be an all-star. So it's hard, I see why there is a lot of conversation about just the mesh of, him maybe coming off the bench and giving, the second group a little more star power. But I don't think the problem is Austin Reeves. Assad, what do you think?
Yeah, sorry about that. No, I completely agree. I want to say I wish they were contenders. I still think we're in dire need of a two-way big, a defensive big, more specifically. Um, that being said, I think it's so tight. I think like this is a team that could sporadically go on an insane, offensive run. So I don't want to rule anything out. That being said, it does matter who we match up against.
Of
I'm
course.
really hoping it's not a first round exit. I'm really hoping we run deep. I'm a positive Lakers fan though, so I do want to try to be realistic, but I do kind of agree somewhat with Malcolm what he's saying. We kind of have a lot of the same thing, and that's not really going to work out long term too. So I think we really need to, look into like, I just tweeted JJ to like look to really run a big lineup against Orlando because they're too big. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think we do have options. But yeah, we're lacking on the big for sure. That's what I think.
No, most definitely. I think, as we talked about, it's all matchups with this team, and the West is as tight as it gets. We had and with the win against the Celtics, we could have moved up to the 3 seed, and, now down to the 5, could be a 6 seed, like tonight, probably. So it's close, and every game really matters. And at this point, it's like we have to beat every team that, isn't a playoff team. That's without question. And then we're going to have to see a couple wins against these better caliber teams. I like how you talked about JJ Redick a little bit because, obviously, he's rookie coach last year, is put in, big shoes. I mean, obviously the Lakers' biggest franchise in sports. LeBron, potentially the GOAT. This is the end of his career. So it's win it all or nothing. And that's a lot of pressure, of course, for a second year head coach. But we're going to play a little game real quick because I've been wondering, obviously the trade deadline's over and there's not much, new talent that's going to join the roster for this upcoming season. Of course, in the offseason, we could see a whole new team like we have seen in the past. But
Mhm.
put you guys in JJ Redick's shoes for a second. What rotation do you experiment with? Who's the starting five? Who's the guys coming off the bench? And what kind of, spot starts do you like more? Again, kind of like we mentioned, like depending on different matchups.
Me personally, I like the Luca and like I like the beginning of the year, Luca and Austin pairing. I don't know if that's still sustainable because obviously then you got to plug in with defense. Like I was listening to Jovan Buha and them earlier, and he was saying, which kind of made sense to me, run more lineups with LeBron by himself, like with LeBron and the Banshees or whatever you call it, and then stagger that around like Luke and Austin. Obviously, they're gonna play the first 6 minutes, first quarter, first half, close the game together, but figure out ways to kind of stagger them. Now, I would keep DeAndre Ayton starting only because I feel like we need him regardless, and we're gonna need him in the playoff run. I don't know if that's the player that you want to have to need. I would say that, but I do feel like we need DeAndre Ayton. So I would keep starting DeAndre Ayton. I would kind of keep the starting lineup at where it's at right now. Rotationally, though, like let's say when it comes down clutch time, who I feel like our best lineup is
Yep.
Luca, AR, LeBron, either like interchangeably, and it sucks to use all three, Laravia, because we need those gritty players. Laravia, Vanderbilt, and Marcus Smart offer a level of grittiness that none of the other Lakers have. Like I would say,
You
we're a
you
team.
cut out Rui. Rui's out of the conversation.
No, no,
No.
no. Rui is our sharpshooter. I honestly kind of look at him like the 6 man kind of flex starter, kind of. You know
Sure.
what I mean? So So closing the game, Rui's gonna he might not be in there, truthfully, because
Yeah.
we're gonna need Jackson
There's only
or
five spots. We
Da.
we we need a
So
big man. Yeah,
yeah,
Aiton's gonna be in the lineup.
Rui and Luke Kennard might be more of like second, third court fillers, kind of, you know what I mean? And or
Yep.
specialty. Like if you need a three, obviously you're gonna plug them back in, whatever the case may be. But I don't feel like Rui's a good enough defender. Like that's why I'd rather have those other guys in when it's closing time, or like let's say it was playoff time. Because in playoff time, you're gonna go from what are we at, like an 8-man rotation to 6, 7? You know, so who's the other two? You
Yeah.
know, that I guess that I don't even know how to truthfully answer that question, but I
Exactly.
would say, yeah,
Exactly.
if I had to choose, I'm gonna go ahead and go Rui and one of the defenders, which truthfully, I'd go Laravia maybe right now because he at
Interesting.
least offers a little bit of like he mucks the game up like Vanderbilt, but he gives a little bit more offensive
He's
upside.
more of a two way. He's more of a two-way guy.
Yeah, you know.
It's tough because, of course, that's the big question. I think, clutch time and starting down the road, we got four players that are locked. It's going to be Luca, AR, LeBron, and Aiton. And look, I'm
Yep.
going to play devil's advocate real quick because we played, of course, we beat the Clippers on Friday. I saw you there. Awesome to see that for me.
Yeah, that was great.
And man, it's all this talk about, the best trio in the league has only played, what, 10 games together. Like, just see the Laker team that's healthy. They can totally be contenders. Like you hear that everywhere. I'm saying that myself because it's a great win. Of course, the Clippers are shorthanded. Kawhi left the game early. Whatever. A win is a win.
Yeah,
But that fifth guy is who's gonna need to step up. And for me, look, it has to be Marcus Smart because we got him exactly for this reason, was to
yeah,
come bring some defensive energy. Of course, Luca, AR, and LeBron, all very offensive minded guys. We need an extra guy to pretty much solely be there for defense, which is a guy like Vando in the past, sure. But when Marcus Smart goes 0 for 7 against the Celtics, his former team, it's like that can't happen, man. And I know even in the game against the Clippers, he didn't score in the first three quarters. And not to give a shout, but over at ESPN Los Angeles, where I work, we did our post game interview with Marcus Smart because he
right.
was
I
kind of the
saw.
clutch guy in the fourth. But it's like he's going 0 for 7. I mean, so there, that brings the question. I mean, I like that you said Laravia because we saw earlier, especially when we had a very injury-prone team, he was getting a lot of minutes. It's kind of died down recently. Vando has not been getting that many minutes either because he's kind of a liability on offense. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So I think Marcus Smart has the most upside where
Yeah,
Rui, as great as, a six man, I think he is, can score off the bench and bring some energy. The bench, it just doesn't seem like it's worked with him. We've tried it the past couple years. I would not be surprised if, I'm not sure what his contract is exactly, but if he gets put in a trade package, I know he's been in a lot of trade talks. So for me, Marcus Smart is that fifth guy. But man, I'm just gonna need to see more momentum from him. I mean, he's a vet. He knows how to, he knows where his shots are and whatnot, but he is struggling a little bit. Of course, when you're with three guys that are very ball dominant themselves, it's hard to get in momentum, but
Yeah.
he's going to have to pick it up if the Lakers are going to be contenders and beat these better teams. Assad, let's hear real quick. Put
I'm
yourself, if you're
I'm
JJ
right.
Redick, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm right there with you. So to be honest, I got a lot of heat for this, but I would put AR off the bench. I
Wow.
want to start Marcus Smart no matter what because of his defensive energy. Obviously, we didn't bring him here for offense, so that's kind of a conversation they need to have internally. But his defensive energy from day one, I was like, he has to be on. He has to start. So I don't mind if we have Rui or AR. I think we didn't start AR the Clippers game, if I'm not mistaken, or a game or two ago. He came off the bench. We
Yeah.
looked
I mean, that
really
was
good.
just strictly injury too. Like he was kind of coming
Minutes
back.
restriction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that he was supposedly gonna come off the bench for the rest of the season. I know it's like kind of a tough topic, but that's really I don't mind who the rest of the starting lineup is. Luca, LeBron, Marcus, DeAndre Ayton, and obviously if AR's, I think AR is our best player to put in there, but they have to fill it out because it obviously, like I said, it is more of the same thing. So, we do want to mix it up a
Yeah.
little bit. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with coming off the bench, man. Lou Williams did it, Jamal Crawford did it, all 6 men of the year, all very legendary. So, it's just how our team is built right now. So in my
Yep.
opinion, that's what makes sense. But I'm right there with you. I think Marcus Smart, he's kind of that factor. I thought he was doing really we were doing really well overall when we finally started him, but I don't want to be dependent on him offensively in any way, to be honest. Like 0 for 7, even though we needed it because they were pulling out the 2024 finals, defense on Luca, they had him pretty tied up, and we needed our role players to come through. But for him, his purpose, in my opinion, is all defensive minded. He's got to
Sure.
get the guys in that that vibe at the go, and that's going to kind of set the tone defensively. From there, they can plug and play. It's controversial, but I don't care. They can start AR with the rest of them, but I really want Marcus Smart to set that defensive tone. He's a DPOY, man. We don't
Sure.
come across those a lot.
That's what I say. I
That's
mean, of
gone
course he's a
though.
vet and he's coming
Yeah.
off, injuries, but man, I mean, I want to say like we're expecting more. So like I want to see him be that, that guy who's being a little more physical, maybe even picking up a tech if he has to, because that's what other teams are doing. I mean, teams are aggressive, teams are quick. We're not as young as other teams, so we kind of got to pick it up in those manners. But it's interesting hearing you guys' takes about Reeds because I think our guy Jovan Buha said it in one of his shows as well. Shout out to him, by the way. But
Yeah.
Austin Reeves, whether you like it or not, Austin Reeves is getting paid this summer.
100%.
And there is no way that we're going to pay him to come off the bench. I mean, that's just not the type of like he's not Jamal Crawford. He's not, he's not like we're not paying him for a 6 man. So I think you got to just look at it as Austin Reeves is going to be starting. I think Luke at him play well together. I mean, you
Yeah.
look at, this past teams, I know there's a lot of talk about, the bigs and kind of the pick and roll action that has been with Luca when he played on the Mavs and they were contenders. But Luca's always had a very good other ball dominant guard, whether that's Kyrie or
Facts.
Brunson.
Jalen
So I think
Brunson.
I think Luca and AR are here to stay. Um,
Yes.
look, we got to talk a little bit about LeBron. It's been too long in the show not to bring up, in my eyes, the GOAT. But I think obviously it's not crazy to say that his time in LA has not, not going to say it's been a disappointment, but he's not bringing, we saw in the Pat Riley statue on Sunday, like Showtime Lakers out there. And that's what we expect from Lakers as Lakers Nation, right? So
Yeah.
obviously the bubble championship was great. It's great to get back on the board, but it's been 6 years now, which is crazy to say, and we haven't really been true contenders since. How much, of course, I see it all the time in the comments, but how much of this do you guys specifically blame on LeBron versus, the role players who are kind of, who maybe haven't stood up for the moment? I'll just go first as you guys collect your thoughts because you can't blame it all on one person. This is a team sport. It's all about expectations. For me, what LeBron is 41 in his 24th season. It's like, are you expecting this guy to still be the number one player in the league? No. Okay, if you're not expecting him to be the number one player in the league, and he's still an all-star, he's a reserve, but it's like, what more can you ask for at this point? He's still averaging 20 points. He's still, can be that best player on the court whenever but he's 41 years old. It's not all up to him. For me, it's you got to look at the role players now. And when every time I look at the box, the stat sheet after the game, and I see like nobody's in double digits, on the bench, it's like it can't all be LeBron, but of course he brings a lot of controversy and a lot of people like to blame everything on him, saying the Lakers should just start over and kind of build up again. But let's hear it. Do you guys think that the Lakers kind of issues within this past 6 years can be blamed on LeBron? And just quickly, I guess, what do you want the outlook on the rest of his career and for I guess not being LeBron fans but being Lakers fans? How can you look at that?
And I was truthfully never a LeBron guy until he came to the Lakers. A big Kobe guy for sure.
Sure.
But what I will say is, oh, and real quick, I wanted to say this about Reeves. I don't think Reeves should come off the bench. I was just saying I think he get physically overwhelmed at times. Like, and that's what I'm saying we can't have happen going into the stretch, running into the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But as far as LeBron's tenure, I would grade it about a B minus. I feel like it could have been like an A had he comes 18-19 with an underwhelming team. Really, we still got Lance Stevenson and them on the team, and he
Right.
really has us in the second seed going into Christmas Day game when he tears his groin against the Warriors, which we was putting it on the Kevin Durant Warriors on Christmas with LeBron
Mhm.
James. He came out the gates on fire.
Sure.
Injured his groin, and then they just kind of fell apart for the rest of the season. Next year, we get AD. We're the best team in the league all season. I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks are kind of nip and tuck with us for the number one overall seed in the NBA, but we're right there. I feel like the 2020 team was going to overwhelming win, whether it was the bubble or out of the bubble. So that year is an A plus. I feel like 2021. Obviously, still coming back from COVID. I feel like we should have beat the Suns. So a lot of it is to injury. Like AD gets injured in game 3. LeBron hurts his ankle earlier that year, but I feel like the 21 defense was better than the 20 defense, but then we get put out by the Suns because obviously, we're injured and stuff like that. 22 was terrible, but I will blame him a little bit for the Russell Westbrook trade, which I love Westbrook. Westbrook's amazing. He's just not the type of player that you put next to a LeBron James. You know what I mean? The fit just ain't there.
Sure.
23, bro. Like how you said you was living in Colorado. Oh, I hated the fucking Nuggets. Let me just start
Dude,
there. I hate
still do.
Jamal.
Still
And
do.
not literally hate. Like these guys are cool, I'm sure, but basketball, you know what I mean? Couldn't stand Jamal Murray. He seemed like he couldn't miss in 23 or 24 against
Just
us.
against the Lakers, though. I'll tell you, like, just against the Lakers. But go on.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, so 23, I thought we were gonna beat them, bro. Like we got swept, but we was in every single game. But
Yep.
that was also where I realized, like, damn, and Darvin Ham was the coach, but I was like, we break down at the end of every game. It almost is a la the 25 series round one against Minnesota. Like, yeah, this could have easily been flipped around 4-1. So I'm saying that to say that's why I would put LeBron tenure to B, but I feel like it's mostly because of injury. I feel like he had a chance to maybe add a chip or two or at least add another chip in there, and things just didn't pan out. But even me being a Kobe guy, I could never be one of them Lakers fans who have bad things to say about LeBron. That's crazy.
Yeah.
There has never been a Lakers player that I did not genuinely root for. So I don't see how LeBron James could be the first one I'm gonna have a problem with. Anybody put on purple and gold, you good with me. But yeah, I would give him a B overall. I wish he had one more chip. But yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as people make it sound though.
Sure, sure. No, well said, man. I saw it all you.
You on mute?
Might be muted, my boy. It's all good.
My bad. I
There
had
you
to
go.
I had to respect it. But that Zoom etiquette comes in. But no, I have to say, if you ever hooped, you got to respect Braun's game. You can't hate him. If you've ever played the sport, you have to respect what he's done. I love him to death. Obviously, I was a never Braun guy. He was, one of our. I wanted to meet him up in the finals. I wish it happened. I was always a Kobe guy, die hard. So that was kind of a dream. But him coming here, like seeing their relationship on Team USA and their brotherhood. The happy birthday, all that stuff, the Kobe ISO, like that. That's like I just can't. You can't hate him. If you're a real Laker fan, you love Kobe, and you saw that. You can't hate Braun, man. You got to
Yep.
love him, and you got to respect everything he's done for the game. So, I mean, I want him to retire out here. I think his family's got a very good life out here. You know the weather. You both know the weather. So, I mean, it's not a place you really want to leave, especially if you're retired and you're probably the top 3 most recognizable sports figures in the world. So,
Easily.
yeah, I mean, it obviously, I think there are multiple factors to it, depending on how this season goes, what happens. But, I can't really say as far as his position on the team. He just dropped a triple double like what 2-3 games ago. So
Right.
like I mean we can't. He's even said it to us. He's been transparent about it. Like, hey, I'm at an age where I'm saving this all for the playoffs. So
Right.
for him to come out and do something like that, it's telling. There are you see these videos that go viral about the defensive effort and stuff like that. I really hate that, man. We got a very big magnifying glass on us, and people, it's like it's like Game of Thrones, literally. Like, we're the biggest house, and just everybody is trying to come after it in the most conniving way. So,
Sure.
we're just doing our part. But I would love to see him retire here. I don't think there's anybody who wouldn't, who's a real supporter of the organization, even part of ESPN. I know
Oh,
they're
there's a
really
lot of
big.
people, a
Yeah.
lot of Lakers fans.
Fans, but I wouldn't say like anybody who's really close with the organization. Like I don't think Mike Trudell would come out and say like, oh yeah, he should like. I think everybody has certain respect level, but of course there's gonna be fans. I mean, there's people I grew up with, who are Laker fans and they hated LeBron. They still do, but
Right.
I mean that's to each his own, man. That's the beauty of our country. Everybody's got an opinion. So,
Sure.
but yeah, I'm good with Braun. I love his family. I go to South Bay games. I give Savannah a high five. I'm hoping to do it again. I don't want them to go anywhere. I'm hopefully you guys can join me at a South Bay game too, man. It's
I
real
gotta get
lively
down
there.
there. I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
get down
Dean, you
there.
got to come for sure. And then Malcolm, when you back in town.
Yeah, let me add one thing on my LeBron though. Even though I love him and I'm mostly happy with his tenure, I don't think he's a 48-minute player anymore
No,
Mhm.
whatsoever. I don't hear a lot of people say that. I don't see him as a 48-minute
you shouldn't.
effective player whatsoever.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I
Yes,
see him
sir.
good
And
in
look,
spurts. He's still really good in spurts, but I also see mostly like checkouts, like
and
Yeah.
the thing is, the media takes everything with, a grain of salt. And you see a comment saying, LeBron's ruining the team that gets, 10,000 likes, and it makes you think all this talk. But at the end
Yeah.
of the day, again, it's all expectations. My prediction for LeBron is he does end up taking a big pay cut this offseason, runs it back for one more year, and then calls it a career. But,
I'd love to see
there's
that.
no point in him, I mean, of course, he's from Cleveland, won his first championship out there. And, of course, Cleveland's his city, but it's like, yeah, Bronny's still here. His family is here. Like, you're not moving out of LA to go back to Cleveland, especially when you got one year left in your career. So I think that conversation's over. But of course, he anytime his name is brought up, it brings a lot of eyeballs and a lot of views. So at the
Yeah.
same time with us, it's like the media likes to spin a lot of things. But I feel like, us being real Lakers fans, I appreciate the talk and the banter either way, because believe it or not, there are a lot of people that think, LeBron is ruining this Lakers roster, and I
Yeah.
don't think I don't think that's the answer.
nah.
I,
Who's gonna be better than him right now in that same position? And
yeah.
he won his first championship in Miami. You knew that though.
Oh, that's on me.
Yeah.
Shit. Hey man, lots of eyes on us right now, so
Yeah.
the
That's
moment might be too big. But yeah, let's wrap it up. Of course, just kind of going back to overreactions. Of course, the West is super tough, right? And it's
yeah.
all about matchups. Obviously, last year we got cooked against the Timberwolves because they had two big guys and we really just could not contend. So I'm gonna list a couple names in the West, and you guys are just gonna give me yes or no. Can we contend in a 7 game series against them?
Oh
Because of course
no.
playoff comes around, man, and
uh,
it's a series. And look, I want to be confident in saying that we can outscore anyone on any given night. We know that. And we've
yeah.
seen, Luca put up 50 like it's nothing. Reeves put up a cool 25 that he's been averaging. And LeBron, whether that might be 13 points and 11 assists, he's playing a role and he knows it's Luca's team. So they've yet to play over 15 games together, and that's something that I think is looked upon as maybe poorly because they don't have the chemistry there really as a trio. But as we said, like, I think LeBron is saving what he has left for the playoffs, so I'm interested to see that. Hopefully everyone can stay healthy. But let's start it
Yeah.
off. We can I'm kind of going to go all over the place. So first, I'm just going to put it out there: the Thunder. OKC, can the Lakers contend in a 7 game series with the Thunder?
Absolutely not.
Not right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
it's
right
it's a
now.
no. It hurts to say, and being biased too, but it's a no. I mean, they're young, they're hungry. They got about 7 guys who will be
They
able
got
to
the
defend
whistle.
Luca and LeBron. So yeah,
Can
okay.
I ask you one thing real quick, Dean? Before, and I don't want to
Yeah,
interrupt too much. Did you
yeah,
watch when we played OKC last time? Like when they hit that second gear on us, even with
yeah.
no
No,
SGA. And I know we
Oh
had no
yeah.
Luca, but did you sense when it turned? Like
Like
it's
first
all a
quarter?
momentum thing with the Lakers too, and
Yeah.
you see them lose it at the same time, just like against the Celtics, they never really got that momentum. So I mean, I feel
Morale.
like us as fans, like watching every game, it's like sometimes you just know when they got it turned on, and of course that's when they start the first quarter hot. For me, it's always that third quarter, man. It's like right after
Yeah.
halftime, you see the slump go, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be another one of those days. So yeah, this team is not contending with the Thunder. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Another name. Let's say the Timberwolves from last year.
we could I would favor us to beat the Timberwolves. The only thing, and I don't want to harp too much on last year. I
Mm.
felt the same way last year. And I feel like we have slightly the same team, and they got
Well,
close to
pretty
the
much the
same.
same schedule. Pretty much the
Yeah.
same record as going in last season
Yeah.
with AD, which is a crazy thing. But yeah.
I would favor us though versus Minnesota. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't today. Not
The
right now. Yeah, I wouldn't today. I mean, I don't think like the thing about Timberwolves is I think their consistency outweighs ours at this point. Like just them closing games and stuff. And I'm I mean, I would probably give it a coin flip to be honest. It's 50-50, but it's just last year was so demoralizing because we had a great game. I was at all of those games against Minnesota. Ann is one of my favorite players. Um, but like in the playoffs, it was backwards. Like from what the season, how we performed with them versus the playoffs, it was like I just felt like we gave up. They just did the Kawhi meme. It's over. Like they just yeah. But I'm hopeful for it, and I think there's a lot of things that are going to surprise us this second half of the season. I think there's a lot more to see because yeah, this is just still a very new team. This is their
Sure.
first season together, but
Gotta stay healthy.
yeah,
Gotta stay healthy.
keep it coming. Hopefully, there's more.
No, for sure. A couple more names. The team that we've kind of pinned upon a couple of times already, that has hurt us in the past couple of years with Jamal Murray game winners, the Nuggets. I know they're also dealing with a bunch of injuries, so it's interesting. But when we talk about matchup, it's tough to think we're going to be able to guard Jokic down the wire. And in my eyes, the Nuggets probably have one of the best offensive like in the league as well. I think right there with the Lakers. So
Yeah,
at that point, it's just who outscores the other.
Yeah.
they're go for it, Malcolm.
No, I was gonna say I would say I would lean more towards no, but it's not as like unrealistic to me as like an OKC or anything like that. Like who did they add? Cam Johnson, Bruce Brown. There's
Yep.
somebody else. They got better and they pushed OKC to 7 games last year. And I would say if the best version of the Lakers, and if we get a DeAndre Ayton, that's his motor going, which obviously that's my biggest thing. I hate we have to rely on what we got to rely on as far as down low, but
Yep.
we'd have a better chance against Denver. I would favor Denver, but I think we could compete with them if we firing on all cylinders.
Where's that DeAndre Ayton that was putting up 20 and 10 earlier this season? It's just it's
Oh
always with the Lakers. It's just inconsistencies. So it'd be great to see put on back-to-back good wins like beating the Celtics, but it's like
man.
good solid game, solid win against the Clippers, and then just bang right back in this hole and got us kind of feeling like this is it's just gonna be a same old another year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say we're not gonna win against the Nuggets either. So I'm actually really nervous against them over Minnesota because they're very smart with it. They haven't been playing Aaron Gordon and Joker together a lot. So if you notice, like he was coming in when Joker was out, he was playing, but now he's out again. So I think they're being very strategic with the way they're gonna attack the postseason, and to have Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Joker on the floor together postseason, that's scary. So that's why, like, I'm really, really hoping that JJ figures something out to prioritize a big lineup. But I don't know who we really have that's that big. I mean, he hasn't
Like
played.
I
Yeah,
don't love Hayes getting playoff minutes. I mean
it's. Look. I think that's one thing. Like how you brought up DeAndre. I think I agree with you 100%. His motivation and the way he looked at the beginning of the season is kind of night and day right now. I think he needs help, bro. I think he really needs help, and he's not one of those players who's gonna like fight tooth and nail like Giannis. He needs, he's gonna lose morale, just like Luca does when his whistle doesn't go his way. So
yeah,
I think those are things coaching staff really needs to think about. I think
sure.
those are things that off season will prioritize. But I'm fingers crossed. I'm still hopeful. I mean, we got Luca, dude. Nothing's off the table with
Yeah,
Luca, bro.
for
Not
sure.
in my opinion. Yeah.
And look, I kind of wanted to do this segment not just for us to feel negative and feel like the Lakers would be another first round
Okay.
exit, but it's like I think people that are watching need to realize that like this is the true transparency with real Lakers fans. We're not just
Right.
the Lakers can beat anyone and just like that. But at the end of the day, Luca, could win MVP. I'm not saying he's gonna this year, but he is an MVP caliber type of guy. He's not gonna win it if the Lakers are, end in the fifth seed. So I'll tell you that. But
Three or
he's
better.
he's going to win multiple MVPs with the Lakers, and of course, it's gonna be any year with Luca. We got a chance. Obviously, it feels like there's a lot of pressure on this team right now. It being end of LeBron's career. So of course we can talk all day, and we got to talk again very soon because like every single game, the momentum shift just it rides. It's hard to like feel confident about this team going into the playoffs. But again, 26 games left in the season. Got to stay healthy, but I'm looking for the Lakers to go in a deep run and kind of give us that boost of enthusiasm and hope because man, would it be fun for another Lakers championship as the Dodgers already won it, the Rams have been playing well. It'd be awesome to see three MVPs in LA with Shohei, Stafford, and Luca.
that's
Oh,
So
crazy.
that's like
oh man.
LA
Right.
is where it needs to be right now in sports, and
Yeah.
the Lakers got to get right back at the top of that the spectrum where they do belong. But I appreciate both of y'all for hopping on. Of course, lots more Laker ball to talk going into it. I appreciate y'all. This is actually the first time I've had guests on a live show on Instagram. we're bringing IG lives back. I know, it's going to be take a lot of promotion, lots of consistency, but that's something I respect and appreciate both of y'all for, continuing to post every game, be there because hey, that's what you got to do. So
Yes,
respect for
sir.
both of y'all. Make sure I'm gonna post this on YouTube and I'll, add descriptions and whatnot. So it
Let's
was
do it,
awesome
man.
talking some shop. Any final words from y'all would love to hear it.
I'll say the one thing that has gave me slight hope is the zone defensive looks, and I hope that they employ that more because then we won't need a big man as much in the playoffs. You know what I mean? But obviously, it's a lot of plug and play and covering for each other and stuff like that, like a switching kind of zone. But other than that, man, I feel like it's like a gap year for the Lakers almost. Like,
Yep.
but we'll see.
Yep.
Man, bro, this was great. I wasn't planning on ever doing one of these, so this is my first time ever doing it live. It's kind of like a face reveal for me too. So I'm
Yeah.
glad I did it with you, Dean. We had a great time meeting, bro. But I'm looking forward to doing it again, man. I'll work on the lighting, get some equipment and stuff,
Let's
and
do it.
we'll definitely keep it going, man. Hopefully, this is gonna help the team get better. Maybe Coach Bo, if you're watching, you heard us, man. Put in the work. Let's get it this
Hey,
year.
bro, I just gotta, get Ireland and Trudell and all the guys listening, and
Yeah.
maybe they can get a higher up to the word. But again, appreciate y'all. Yeah, I'm just, it's just a conversation with some Lakers fans, giving the fans and the creators a voice. So appreciate y'all again. Much respect, and looking forward to connecting in the future.
Much love,
Thanks, man.
brother. Youngest
Have a
in
good one.
charge,
Yes,
Dean
sir.
Frank. All
Yes, sir. I'll hit y'all later.
right, bro.
On everyone.
Sweet, sweet. And I'm gonna clean it off from my side as well. But we're gonna post this on YouTube after as well. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in, staying active. I want I want to bring y'all in the conversation. So if anyone is listening and is a big Lakers fan, just hit me up. I'm gonna DM y'all because yeah, again, just want to give Lakers fans a voice. It's gonna be Dodgers next week and Rams after that. Dean's LA Sports Report, and appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is just the beginning. So peace.